know how to say it. I've always said Caleb. Is it Caleb? Caleb Yarnian? I hand wrote this, and it looks like it's your name's Caleb Garanisa. Well, I always forget to print it out. All right. Everybody ready? Also, if you want to hide behind this thing, I can introduce you. This All right. All ready? Yeah. Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Hi, Kate. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the last show and tell ever of this term. It's nice of you guys to all make it here today. It's been a really wonderful couple weeks of programming. Anybody want to share any favorite memories? Mine has been Max in the front seat every week. Thank you, Max. We should clap for that. Max gives me strength to do a good job. Really? No special treasured memories from anybody?
I thought Adam J.K. was really funny.
Adam J.K. was really funny. He's a homie. I thought so too, and I thought he was also a homie. So
Georgia is also a homie.
Georgia is also a homie. We have just all homies this term, and I hope that continues into next term, and that you'll all keep coming for the homies. But we've got some exciting guest announcements today. So first, let's talk to Briar.
I just wanted to give you all a heads up. Can you hear me? Okay. That January, we're going to be running a program or a project that we've done in the past called Lifelong Work Month. And what it is a pop-up studio that will take over the AB Art Gallery downstairs. 12 students will be selected to basically set up shop there, bring in some tables, some chairs, and then make the space your own. What you do with it, what you do with your time there is something that the group would collaborate to figure out. So it could be that you end up branding the space. It could be that you end up doing some collaborative pieces together. Could be that you sell stuff. Could be that you offer workshops for your peers. Could be a lot of different things. In the past, it's been all graphic design students. I am opening it up this year to art students as well, which I think could make for some nice cross-pollination between the two groups. So information will be coming out soon with a form to fill out. It'll be a digital, like a Google form, and the process for selection will happen pretty quickly. So you would know by the end of December. So that's all I wanted to say. Keep your eyes on the either Facebook or on the newsletter. More info to come.
Also, look out for some really cool posters coming, designed by Reed. Right? Are those getting printed out?
Yeah.
Sweet. Let's clap for Reed's poster. You guys are gonna love it. Okay, and then Meredith also wants to talk about a new class she's offering next term. So let's all clap as she runs down the aisle like Price is Right style.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm not good with microphones. I'm really actually horrible at microphones. But that might segue into what I'm going to talk about. My winner first is called Failure. I'm just going to talk. Okay, I just talk. Can you hear me?
You need it. You need it.
I do? Really?
Yeah, that's what we
Someone else should
want.
hold it for you. All right. So there's a course I'm teaching this winter term called Failure. And we're looking at it from a multitude of angles: architecture, product design, industrial design, graphic design. And we're basically going to do a series of readings and podcasts and documentaries and have a lot of discussion. There will be a making component, but it's going to intentionally kind of throw some rocks in the way. And then my favorite part of the class is the intentional failures. And it's part of the grade that you kind of set yourself up for failing on purpose and seeing what that feels like. And we don't normally operate that way. But failure's kind of become a little bit of a buzzword, a buzz term that's happening. I actually just got handed a copy of the New York Magazine with its recent failure issue, and so it's everybody's talking about it because the rate that things are happening, because we're kind of producing and consuming at such a speed that failure is kind of becoming a bigger and bigger and bigger issue in how we work. And artists and designers, we have to deal with failure on a daily basis. So that's basically what the course is about. I would love it if you would come by and see me or send me an email if you have any questions. Meredith James. I'm downstairs across from Briar. You guys probably know Briar better than you know me because I'm kind of new. But come find me or ask anybody, and I'd love to answer any questions you have. Okay?
Thank you.
All right, cool. And then just two more quick things. If you participated in the Good Market over the weekend, you can pick up your stuff from Maya right after this in this room. And if you participated in that, you should raise your hand or stand up and receive an avalanche of applause. I was going to say supplies. Applause. Receive. That didn't sound like an avalanche. If you weren't there, it was beautiful. There was a really good turnout. Everybody sold a lot of stuff, and it was just great. And so look for more stuff like that in the future, because it was a big success. And give Maya a big high five or a hug or a coffee or something for putting that on and doing an awesome job. And then the applications for mentorship are up online right now, and you should fill those out ASAP, especially if you're a sophomore. The links are on the Facebook group, they're on the blog, they're in emails. There's so many ways to reach them. So do that, the sooner the better. Anything else? Kate, anything else? Cool. Well, I'm very pleased to announce that I can personally vouch that today's guest is also a homie. So we're keeping this going. And I'm going to introduce him and talk about Fuzzco in a second, but I want to do a personal plug real fast. I got to know Caleb over the summer because we worked together on Design Week stuff. But did anybody read the interviews on the Design Week Portland blog? Sean? Okay. Go to Design Week Portland.
And like 3 other people total.
Okay.
That's okay.
Join the legions of 4 that have already read these interviews. But he did a really amazing series of interviews with people of all walks of design for Design Week Portland that are on the Tumblr. So if you go to the Design Week Portland website, there's like a blog link at the top. You can read all those. I found them very enjoyable. He even interviewed Kate. So at least read that one. Or skip that one. I'd read it. But they were really good. You should check those out. I just wanted to do a personal plug for that. Do you want to plug anything else about you?
No, I can do that myself.
Okay, he's going to do that himself. Okay, cool. Let's get to it. Fuzzco is a full-service creative agency building brands from its headquarters in deepest, darkest Charleston, South Carolina. Working for a broad range of clients, including tech companies, restaurants, boutique chocolatiers, nonprofits, magicians, and soda jerks. These guys appear from afar to be having a lot of fun. We're going to talk to Caleb Yarian. He's a brand strategist and project lead at the agency, and I'm pleased to say, a friend. Let's welcome Caleb.
I'm not sure about the term friend, but we are acquaintances. No, I'm just kidding. Zach's a great guy. You guys are lucky to have him. So, I work at Fuzzco. A few things. You might have noticed me on my phone being very rude earlier during announcements. My coworkers just discovered that this is streaming live, and were all taunting me via Slack. So that started me freaking out a little bit. No, I don't really care. I just don't want them tweeting jeers at me while I'm doing this. So You might notice that this slide is already incorrect. I was originally supposed to give this talk on November 13th, but Kate figured none of you guys would come if there was an excuse, and the snow seemed to be an excuse, so I'm here now, and I'm happy to be here. I'm going to set expectations at the start, something that's really important for you guys to do for any client you're ever working with on any project is to set clear expectations. I think it's actually probably the most important part of our job, because if you don't do it right, everything else is awful. Note, I am not making apologies. I'm just setting expectations. I prepared this several weeks ago, and man, this week has been a doozy. So I kind of don't remember what's in here, but we're just going to dive in and do it. I'm very excited to be speaking to you guys, and the people I work with back in Charleston and Kansas City and Boise, Idaho, and Berlin, Germany, are all excited and now watching on the internet. This box we didn't do. We actually think it's pretty gross and weird, and so we wanted to throw it in here because we just like it. We actually, one of our designers snuck it into a presentation, and he's a weird enough dude that none of us could tell if he really liked it or didn't like it, and he was defending it vigorously. So we're all polite and really nice. So we're just kind of like, yeah, I don't know if it's really right for this tech company, but it's actually from a French coloring book he found online. Okay, so who's Fuzzco? Some of you guys probably know something about us, but we are a creative agency that's based in Charleston, South Carolina. And everyone was always in Charleston, South Carolina until earlier this year, when several of us, for all kinds of complicated reasons, decided we needed to be elsewhere and work remotely. So several of us who are Fuzzco veterans kind of jumped out all over the country, and we do have a guy in Germany working remotely. But the bulk of us are still in Charleston. We all feel very strongly connected to Charleston. It's a wonderful city. We sometimes have a difficult time attracting talent to Charleston, but I think that's just because so many people haven't been there. I really encourage you guys to go there, and if you want to be hired by Fuzzco, get ready to move to Charleston. This is most of us. The other two are just hideously ugly, so they didn't fit in here. But this is everybody. I really like working at Fuzzco, and I love my team. I'm really proud of the work we do, so if I sound conceited or arrogant during this talk, it's probably because of that. I just really love my team, and I think everybody's so great. Josh Nissenboim and Helen Rice are in the top left corner there. These guys started Fuzzco. We're a very non-traditional agency, and a lot of people say that, and whatever, you can determine whether it's true or not. None of us really come from an agency background. Most of us, almost all of us, don't come from Charleston. We moved there from elsewhere. A lot of us from New York, from the Midwest, from other places in the South. Josh and Helen started Fuzzco when they were living in an apartment. He was driving a taxi, and she was waiting tables. She had a studio art degree. He had a degree in mathematics, and they built a website for a friend on a secondhand computer. That's how they started. And then they just started building more and building more. And Charleston's a small town, so people asked them to do more for them. So they started doing brand identity systems, and they realized that they didn't have the chops that they needed, so started hiring really talented people. And a great thing about Josh and Helen, who are very creative and very intelligent and wonderful, is they're not full of themselves, and they don't have a lot of ego. So they were really happy to just bring on ultra talented people, really happy to let people play to their strengths. And I kind of think that's what we all do. This is what I look like when someone throws something at my face, so I figured I'd switch to that slide. So I came to Fuzzco from a really weird background. I mean, Zach gave you the titles that are on the website. The truth is, the titles on the website don't really track to what anybody at Fuzzco does. We just all do everything all the time. Like I don't clean the toilets anymore, and I don't do, I don't know, some other things. But basically I do everything except ever open Illustrator or code anything. But I do offer a lot of like strategy, a lot of creative direction, that kind of thing. And I lead projects. I am the interface with our clients on a lot of our projects. And we have others who do that too. I have a background in, I studied philosophy in college. I got a master's in linguistic anthropology. I went to law school and was a lawyer for a little while. That's a terrible life, don't do it. You guys are on the right track. And I came to Fuzzco through a long series of events that are not that interesting. Oh, one other thing. If you guys have questions at any point, please throw a hand up in the air or just start talking. I'm happy to, we can talk about anything, I don't really care. This is our building. It's an old warehouse that a furniture stripper owned, and we just took it and redid everything. We really love our building. It is our home. We're really proud of it. It's a place where Fuzzco spends most of its time. So I don't know. We want to show you some photos of it. We played Dominion a lot and a bunch of other games. Games help us be creative. Our workspace is upstairs. We have skylights everywhere. It's honestly, yeah, it's the best workspace I've ever worked in. Feels really good. We designed our own standing, sitting desks. Yeah, whatever. Cool. I don't remember what's in this. This is really cool. I like this. So undoubtedly, half of the people in Charleston are playing bumper pool right now, and the other half are working furiously and sweating and hating the people who are playing bumper pool. That's just how it goes. Like, it's ups and downs, right? And sometimes you win, and some days you're the guy who's doing it all. Again, the team is really great. It's really important to me not to work with jerks, and I just don't think we have a jerk in Fuzzco. I actually think I'm the biggest jerk, and I'm not that bad. Everybody else is really great. One thing we tell everyone who wants to come work with us is there's two real key values that you have to come work here. One is you have to have a sense of humor about yourself. Like, we don't hire people who can't laugh at themselves, especially when they do stupid things. And then the other is we really, really value not having too much of an ego involved in your work. And everybody who works for us does great work and is very committed to their ideas and very committed to why they think their idea should win when we're collaborating. But what we all really are committed to is that the best idea should just be the one we go with. And I think I've worked in a lot of different settings and with a lot of different people, and I think this is the best team for that I've ever been with. Sorry, I rarely get to brag about the people I work with. I'm excited about it. From Instagram and from our website, it looks like we never ever do any work and just play ping pong and eat chocolate and chase our chickens around. And all of that does happen, but we actually work furiously hard on way too many projects at a time and work really, really quickly. I'm really excited by Meredith's class on failure, actually. I highly recommend that because I do feel like what we do is fail all the time. And what our job really is to figure out how to fail less and less all the time. So I think that's an interesting way to think about what you do. So I'm going to take you through some of our projects because it's show and tell, right? And that's what we do. And I want to give you guys a little insight into why the work came together the way it did, as opposed to just pointing at it. But again, I might miss some things. So if you have questions, definitely throw them out. So Mailchimp has been a client of ours, I don't know, a year and a half now, maybe 2 years, and it's just been the most ideal client relationship ever. We have a lot of non-ideal client relationships too, or have in the past, so I don't want you to think I think we live in heaven, but these guys are so amazing. Mailchimp makes an amazing product. They make a ton of money from people using it, and they throw a ton of money back into their marketing department. The marketing department's kind of driving strategy in what they do is just to reward people for paying attention to them. A lot of their marketing doesn't have anything to do with their actual product. They just like making fun, cool stuff to reward people's curiosity. And we're really down with that. They asked us to do some illustrations for them for our initial project, and that has ballooned into just an ongoing retainer relationship where they have ideas and ask us how we want to execute them. We get to have ideas, and we just get to put crazy things together for them. Here are some crazy things. So like, we get to design a Frisbee because we wanted to design a Frisbee, and we made it very, very complicated. It's one of the most intricate Frisbee designs I've ever seen. This was a thing we did because they needed a giveaway at a conference, so we get to throw this kind of thing together. Coffee cups, everybody drinks coffee. So one thing Mailchimp really likes to do is give actual physical things back to their users. And so they sometimes have big giveaway contests. And when they made these PVC toys for the monkey, their Freddy mascot, we actually got to design the packaging. We designed and built a website that required users to do a bit of a scavenger hunt to get to where they could claim the monkey. Yeah, pretty fun. We did a series of temporary tattoos because everybody's doing that, and it is really fun. The idea was kill snail mail dead. So that was the idea with the dagger through the envelopes, and death on the left, representing mail that needs to go away. Yeah, a lot of the stuff we do for them is just raw, like they just say, we need something to give away. What do you want to do? And we say, temporary tattoos seem great. Here's an idea. Let's do it in the style of old flash tattoos. When we get to do it, there's not a ton of back and forth. We show them things. Most of the time, they give us really big thumbs up and smiles. Again, ideal client relationship. These are incredibly rare. These really rarely come along. So we're happy to have them. They wanted a set of playing cards. I don't remember exactly where the idea first came from, but they thought it would be cool to have a set of playing cards. So one of our designers got to spend a lot of time doing research into the history of playing cards and why design elements on playing cards are set up the way they are. There's some pretty intense rules for the design of playing cards that we needed to pay attention to, and then also decided to do some things that were different. But we wanted to be very intentional about that and make this something that anyone could sit down and feel good about playing. We do a lot of things with a very young, some people would say childish aesthetic, and we really like that. We also like sometimes to make things look very serious. And actually, the guy who runs the card company that makes these is a magician and works as an agent for David Copperfield. And that's how we met him, is he came to us to build a site for David Copperfield, and we designed and built the best David Copperfield website you've ever not seen. Because Mr. Copperfield is rich, and so he gets to be very eccentric and do things his own way, and we never launched it, and I'm super bummed about it. We were hoping that it was going to lead to an invitation to visit his monkey island, where he has like 300 monkeys in cages in an underground chamber, but it didn't work out. It's cool, I don't want to see that anyway. So we did card boxes for the cards. This all felt good. I don't know, I've got a ton of work in there. I need to probably just move faster. So another thing I wanted to tell you, I'm only showing you stuff we've done in the last 12 months. And this is maybe 40% of the work we've done in the last 12 months. We just do an unbelievable volume, I think, of projects, which is part of why I feel like we fail all the time. Because every single one of us can look at a project we got to spend a week on and know what could have been better if we had had 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 3 months, 4. But we live in a world where those kinds of things are not possible, both because of the need to feed ourselves and the need that clients have to get things out the door. So I think one thing that was initially frustrating for me, and might be frustrating for you guys when you get out more into this world and are working more professionally in it, is just being okay with things not being all the way done. It's just a thing you have to get your head around. We get them as done as we can, and we're pretty proud of where they end up, but everything is not quite perfect. So one thing we did with the cards was we wanted to include like a promotional card. Sometimes when you buy decks of cards, they have a promotion in there telling you to go somewhere. And we've been playing the card game Unique. Dan Casaro, who some of you guys probably know, had come to Charleston and visited and had taught us how to play the card game Unique, which is a game that a lot of Israeli people play, and they'll tell you it's from Israel. There's some ongoing debate as to the original source of the scene. But basically, the cool thing about Unique is there's a card game you can play with some basic rules, but also you can create your own rules as you go along, and you can add and customize, which is super exciting to us because we love games and we love making up new stuff. So I'm going to be switching back and forth between this presentation and the web, because a lot of the work we do is interactive. So we built the Unique, and man, I wish this was a little bit better. You can't really see the site so well because of the dimensions here, but that's okay. We built this site to explain the rules of Unique to people. This was just a fun side project. Man, let me tell you, you have not had fun until you've proofread this many rules for a game of cards. But the site is just a lot of fun if you like reading. We try to make it a little rewarding along the way. It feels much longer than it would if you were looking at it on another computer. Anyway, if you want to learn a really fun game to play with friends, there's a lot you can do here. There's bonus rules, And then at the end, we created, you don't have to read all this to play unique, by the way. You can read it'll take you 5 minutes to learn the basic rules and then you just start making stuff up. At the bottom, we created a random rule generator. So this right here lays out the classic rules, and then you can randomize the rules to find out different ways to play. It's pretty fun. I don't know, I like it. Okay. So other things we've done for Mailchimp, I'm going to move a little bit faster. We designed this custom textile because they wanted us to make pocket squares, because why not? These guys are making everything all the time. It's ridiculous. We made a shirt. This gentleman is excited to wear it. That was a crazy experience. So another thing Fuzzco tries to do is get our hands into everything. Our bread and butter for a long time was really what Josh and Helen had started with, which was designing and building websites. And the web design and development end continues to be a really important part of what we do. Our typical bread and butter project is a company comes to us and asks for a brand identity system and a marketing website and a bunch of brand collateral to get them started off right. And then a lot of times those relationships go on into designing more things. But we have done interior design, a restaurant that we collaborated on a couple years ago, won the James Beard Award for Best New Restaurant in the Southeast. We've done packaging products, we've done clothing. We want to get into everything. We also sometimes compose music, which has been interesting. I can't quite shoot. There's a whole bunch of tabs here I can't see. Hold on just a second. Yeah, it's maybe not gonna work. Okay, that's cool. We'll do it like this. Yeah. All right, we're gonna do this totally differently. Oh, excellent, thank you. Yeah, Josh is gonna yell at me because I do know my keyboard shortcuts, but I forgot them. Another thing we did for Mailchimp is they wanted a comic book to celebrate the 1-year anniversary of a product that they have called Mandrill. And so we put together an initial web comic, and they just got so excited by comics, and they got excited by comics that we did a whole series of a story involving an evil villain who later ends up being just misguided, and everybody ends up being friends. And you guys can see this online. I can't do this. The comics were so much fun that we ended up creating a print edition for Mailchimp to give away last holiday season. I'm obsessed with comic books. I think some of my coworkers got really tired of comics by the end because it is a grind. But this ended up being just a really nice piece. We gave away a box set that included all the original comics plus some additional pieces. This is the handbook that the evil genius's minions have to read and sign before they can work for him. Cool. We do some other things that I'm not going to show you because I don't have internet access, and that's fine. One day we put a bunch of seed down for our chickens and filmed a video, promotional video for these guys. We designed a new recruiting kit for Mailchimp. So this is a bunch of collateral that gets sent to people who are coming to work for Mailchimp. It needed to feel really fresh and intelligent, and needed to, yeah, just be like a fun package you get in the mail. And we thought this was fun. We designed a video game for these guys that you can see if you go to fastfives.mailchimp.com. It's like a 80s style pixelated thing. All right, I want to talk about another client now. So Alder is a very different client. Alder is a great client, but they are not Mailchimp. Alder is a client that is, the guys who work for the company are not guys who, I guess, kind of grew up in the same places that most of the people who work at Fuzzco grew up. They have very different perspective on the world, and it's been great to work with them. I think one of the best things about my job and about what Fuzzco gets to do, and what you guys will get to do, is you get to experience all kinds of people in this industry. Ideally, if you're doing it right, I think you're gaining a broader perspective on the world all the time, and a broader perspective on yourself and what's possible for your own life. I think the saddest story to me is when people end up surrounding themselves with people just like them and working only with people just like them, because I think you miss out on a lot in life if you do that kind of thing. Alder is a home security alarm company, and working with them, I've learned an enormous amount about that industry that I never knew. First of all security alarm systems are sold door to door. That's how it's done. Some people buy them through websites, but that's like 1 to 2%. Every one of these companies is out knocking doors all summer. And the model's been in place for years. And almost all of these companies are based in Salt Lake City, Utah. And the reason they are is because that's where a large population of Mormons live. And people who are members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints go off on a 2-year mission where they knock doors for 2 years and try to talk people into buying something they don't want. And so when those guys come back, they are hired to work for door-to-door sales organizations to go out and knock doors and sell people things they don't necessarily want or don't yet know that they want. Fascinating. It's like training camps for this business. So a lot of door-to-door sales organizations are actually based in Salt Lake City. It's a very, the door-to-door sales world can be a very aggressive, macho culture. These guys are trying to do something different. They're trying to create a new, kind of a new way of doing things. And they wanted us to help them look different. They had another name, and we're not going to dig into that right now because we actually haven't launched all the stuff for their new name yet. This is the logo that they came to us with, and this is the logo. It wasn't a vector file. This is the largest version of their logo they had. And they said, please make us not look like this. Make us look like a billion-dollar company. Because their biggest competitor is Vivint, who some of you might have heard of. Vivint just sold 2 years ago for almost $3 billion. And it's a bunch of guys who started off selling like pest control door to door. If you're an Alder salesman, you can go out in the summer during college and make $80,000 pretty easily. So if you guys want to make some cash, go work in this world. So one fun thing we got to do for Alder was naming. We get into that a lot now. We do a lot of naming exercises with clients, and their old name was really kind of bland. It just said exactly what they did. It didn't distinguish them at all. We wanted to go in a very different direction. We wanted to give them a name that was pretty agnostic, that didn't nail them down to just home security, because the truth is that whole world is changing like crazy right now. With Google and the other big players moving towards the Internet of Things and all of our electronics being wired together, no company wants to be just painted into a corner. So we picked a name that was agnostic. We picked a name that was a recognizable English word, but not everybody has like a clear understanding of exactly what it is, but it feels familiar, feels warm, and there's a story behind it too. The alder tree in a lot of ancient European mythology had strong protective powers. It's what kept people secure. So you would make your shields out of alder wood, and there's all these stories of when a village was about to be invaded, a mystical grove of alder trees springing up in front of the invaders to stop them and protect the village. So we thought it made sense for home security guys. It's been really fun. We've been able to create a world for these guys. As you can see, the aesthetic for the stuff we're doing for Alder is very different from the stuff we do for Mailchimp or for our own internal projects. But that's because this is what's right for the client. This client is really interesting. Most clients you'll work with have one particular target audience that they're trying to really reach. Alder needs to go in 2 completely different directions at the same time. Their brand identity needs to appeal to older, scared people living in suburbs who need to buy security systems, and at the same time, it needs to go to their recruiting reps. So the people they're trying to recruit against all these other door-to-door sales organizations that are all located in the same town are young, college age, mostly male, very competitive, just men, almost all men. And so what we did was try to come up with something that feels technologically savvy, forward-thinking, but could also be adapted so that old people could feel like it really represented security. So this is a lot of the recruiting collateral we put together. We designed a recruiting website. So 2 different websites. These guys were doing all their recruiting at college campuses, but had no online presence for that. We designed a recruiting site. Some of the leadership want to have full car wraps, which I think is awesome. So this is what they're doing. I want to see one of these on the road. I haven't seen it yet. We put together a whole set of new recruiting materials for them too. A really important thing for these guys, because they are so different from some other clients we had, and kind of different from our natural understanding of the world, was to really dive in deep and understand where they're coming from. And our designers had to do this. This wasn't just like a strategist sitting back, writing everything and telling the designer what to do. We really expect our designers to learn new worlds of business and to really learn where our clients are coming from so that they can produce the right materials. For Big Cartel is an online e-commerce platform. Yeah, I can't show you these websites. Never mind. Let's just go past. They're great. They're super fun to work with. We created a custom theme for them that's infinitely customizable. If you guys are selling anything online, I recommend using the snakebite theme. Camelfish is another very different client. So there was a company that was originally called Rewind that came up with a brand of candles. They thought, why don't we just chop the bottom off an empty wine bottle, put a candle in it, and sell it? Seems pretty simple. You know, they thought, we'll see if this goes, and just became phenomenally successful, and then became very excited coming up with new brands of candles. They wanted to get their candles out into the retail space, and that's, you know, something that you can do, but it's kind of an uphill climb. And what they decided to do instead was create their own retail arm, but they didn't want to brand it as Rewind. They didn't want to limit themselves, so they came to us with an idea to help them come up with a name and concept the retail arm that will sell a variety of brands of candles that they make, as well as other fine candles. So we came up with Camelfish, because the truth is, if you take, I can't remember the name of the fish. I know one term for the fish is hooligan, but it's also called a candlefish, but it's also called, I think it's a type of herring. There's a type of fish that if you pull it out of the ocean and dry it, you can light it on fire and it will burn like a candle. It's pretty awesome. And we just like the name Candlefish. So we came up with an identity system for them. We also came up with the name for Candlefish, which was a lot of fun, and designed bags and brand collateral to go in the retail location. Matchbooks. As you can see, very, very different look and feel from older. But that's because these guys are aiming for educated, upper end of the socioeconomic curve clientele. Their stuff is pricey. Their store just feels really just clean and spare. Yeah, we're looking to appeal to people with disposable income, so it needs to feel very schmancy. This is a client actually that's based in Charleston. We work. We used to work a higher percentage of our work used to come directly from Charleston than it is now. We still work a lot locally because we're really focused on that. So we work for Mailchimp and Google, but we also work for the sandwich shop around the corner because we like branding the hell out of our hometown. It's fun to walk around a town and just be able to point at 7 things at one time and say, we did that, we did that, we did that, we did that. There's a lot of other great people working in Charleston too. They're doing great work, but we're proud of the stuff we've done. So MoveLoot is a totally different type of business that came to us. These guys are a software, no, that's not true. They are a tech startup in San Francisco. They came out of, I believe, the Y Combinator. Might have been 500 startups, I don't know. This was 4 guys, 4 kids. I call them kids because they were fresh out of college, and I'm old at 35. These 4 people had an idea, which was they had all moved to San Francisco to take tech jobs right out of college, and they had a terrible time finding furniture for their apartments. They had no time. They were working all the time. They don't have time to troll around on Craigslist, dig through all the trash, find a way to get to a place, look at a piece of furniture, realize it's not right for them, or if it is right for them, figure out how to get it back to their home. So they created a service, a website that's a curated exchange for furniture. What you do is you contact MoveLoot, you say, I've got a couch to sell. They come out, they look at it, they pick it up if they want it, they keep it in their warehouse, they promote it through their website, and if someone buys it, they deliver it to the buyer. So kind of an obvious idea, but nobody's doing this. Because of that idea, these 4 now 25-year-olds were given $8 million in the first year to do this idea. And it was a lot of fun to work with them. They came to us, they already had a logo. This was their logo. They had done what a lot of tech startups do, which is someone knew someone who could do it like on a weekend, and they designed it. It's not a flexible system. There's nowhere you can go with this. I mean, it's fine. It served a purpose for them at the time, so I'm not cracking on it. But like, what can you do with this skyline, right? Like that works in one context, the header of their website, but in every other application, there's no flexibility to it. And they said, please help us get to a better place. And we were happy to. So this is the new logo. The bird hops around depending on how they're using the logo. It also changes in size. They wanted us to create something that supported the brand values of intelligence and nimbleness and flexibility. And I'm going too slow, I just realized. So we did a bunch of skyline illustrations for them. It's very important. They're establishing themselves in local markets all over the country. And it's very important that in those local markets, they feel local. So we have helped them do that through a series of illustrations of skylines of the different cities. We wrap their moving trucks. So the trucks in Charlotte have the Charlotte skyline. The trucks in San Francisco have the San Francisco skyline. We designed their homepage and another page for them. They took those, changed them a little bit, and then built them. We're fine with it. So Bike Law. This is another logo. It's a consortium of lawyers who all work together on biker-related issues, trying to advocate for greater biker awareness on the roads, and then also suing people who hit bikers. These guys are all over the country, but they're based in Charleston. This is the new logo we came up for them. It was very important to the founders that we incorporate these colors. These colors plus blue are traditionally worn on the jersey of a winning racer the next time they race in the same race. And so we incorporated a bit of the history of biking into the logo. It's a very flexible system with a lot of different pieces they can combine and use in different ways. The website is awesome. You should see it. I can't show it to you. These guys are serious, so we got to design full biking kits for them, and you can buy these. And that is a human thigh. Bikelaw.com, it's really great. Zenefit's very different client, another tech startup. These guys are the fastest growing. Last year they were named the fastest growing startup in San Francisco. We were happy to help them design their logo. We've designed their marketing site. All of their app screens, came up with systems of icons for them. I'm just moving quicker now so I can get through it all, but if you guys want me to slow down, let me know. Series of illustrations they're using. These guys are changing how people do business. So as you can see, we like to work on a lot of different types of projects for a lot of different types of clients. We also like to work on internal projects. Someone had an idea last year. There's a lot of fun joking around about how useless art direction sometimes feels. So we created a pocket art director, which is a 20-sided die that you can roll at any point when you're trying to design something, and it will give you somewhat meaningful and somewhat meaningless guidance. And I don't know, we kind of made it up as a joke. There's a cool website, pocketartdirector.com, where you can actually like roll a 3D die, and then people really loved it, so we made physical ones and got in Wire magazine for that. There's some patches we did. We're proud of South Carolina. It has its ups and downs, like any state, but it's a really great place to live. This is some wrapping paper we made, composed of body parts of Fuzzco employees. There's a lot of nipples there. You can play the guessing game if you want. We wrapped up a bunch of gifts and sent them out to clients. We got some local honey and candy and sent those out. I'm gonna skip past this. This is great. We turned our old office into a series of pop-up shops. We have an internal intranet site, which the wiki junkies among us went nuts over. Let's put everything on the internet so everybody can always see what it is. And this is a series of, I forget what this is in here. This is spirit animals. Oh yeah, this is spirit animals. An illustrator decided to do a series of illustrations of every Fuzzco employee's spirit animal. When he was asking me for mine, I wasn't paying attention. I was working really hard on something. I thought he was joking. I didn't know it was a thing. And so I just started listing atrocious animals, and so I'm in here as a naked mole rat. That's what I get. That's what I get. Yeah, I don't know. That was just a whirlwind tour of the last 12 months. Really a small part of the last 12 months. I don't know. I love what I do. If any of you guys want to talk to me about what we do, I'm happy to do it anytime. Zach knows I'm always happy to get a beer or coffee with anyone. You guys have any questions? Yeah.
Can I, or where can I get one of those pocket art directors?
That's a great question. I actually think we're sold out. So we did 2 runs. Yeah, we might do another one. Well, what we don't want to do, I don't know. We don't want to do overkill, but yeah, we might do another run. And if we do, we'll definitely tweet about it. So you can follow us on Twitter.
But there's an online one?
Yeah, there is. You can play with it online for sure, or you can buy mine from me for $200. No, I understand that. Yeah, look at the one online. It's pretty cool. You may get all of the joke out of it that you need, and actually not need to buy the physical product. Yeah.
Why Charleston? I know you mentioned a lot of you aren't from there, so why did you settle there?
Well, Josh and Helen moved there after college because Helen was from there, and Charleston is just an amazing town. I'm from all over the Southeast, and if you're not from the Southeast, it can be hard to understand why you would want to live there. But that's how people there feel about other parts of the country. I love it, and I actually think Charleston is a really unique place within the South. It's so beautiful and so easy to live there. It's just a great town, and so nobody's ever wanted to move the company. Yeah, it's also an hour flight away from New York, so you don't miss out.
Where do you find the people to fabricate your shirts and your dice, and is that something that clients will come to you and then you design it and then they just find somebody, or do you guys?
Yeah, that's a great question. So sometimes both of those. Sometimes clients come to us and they say, give us designs for X. Here's a template it needs to fit within, and we do that. And then sometimes clients say, I want a shirt, figure it out. And then we just figure it out. Like I said, everybody at Fuzzco wears a bunch of different hats. So I think the account manager for Mailchimp, I'm again a title that really doesn't make any sense because she does all kinds of things. But I think she just really dug into textile production and found a place that makes custom shirts. Yeah, super weird. I always get scared when we get those. I'm a person who at first is just oh God, we can't do that, that's insane. But then there's other people in the building who are we can do anything, and then we do it. So it all works out. Anybody else? Yeah.
Why did you come to Portland?
Charleston's a very small town, and I'm married. I love my wife, and her job was pretty terrible in Charleston, and there just wasn't anything else. If she could have done something else, I would have stayed in Charleston. It was really, really hard to leave these guys. But yeah, here I am. And I really like Portland. I mean, it's an amazing place. And I was tired of hot weather and beaches. And now that I'm out here, some things are brewing. There might be some interesting developments for Fuzzco in the next few months. Yeah, Fuzzco's here. We're excited about it. Yeah.
It's kind of a large question, but also want to start with a small question.
Okay.
If you got a do-over on your spirit animal,
Oh yeah.
what would you go with?
Probably make him all right.
Again.
I mean, he really nailed it.
It was unconsidered, but it was correct.
It's the ugliest creature. Yeah, but they're good survivors. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's fine. What does it mean, spirit animal? I don't know. Make him all right. Probably.
Cool.
Yeah. That was a hard one.
And I was wondering, you said your kind of educational backgrounds were in some pretty big things that don't have anything really to do with branding or anything like that. How did you kind of learn that stuff, or do you just feel like you were born with an innate sense of brand genius where it clicked right away? Okay,
so I don't know how to answer this without my coworkers making fun of me for sounding arrogant. So I'm gonna do my best, okay? I don't think, I think study matters. I think getting educated matters, and I think classes are of value. Obviously I do, or I wouldn't have gone to grad school and law school. At the same time, I think the most important skills in being able to do branding and being able to work for clients are the most important skills you have to do that are a broad perspective on the human experience. So experience a lot of things, know a lot of types of people, know a lot about the world, and you can figure out how people tick. So I did philosophy, anthropology, law school, and then some other professional. I worked at I actually ran a brand consultancy that later merged with Fuzzco. But I also moved around all the time when I was a kid. I've lived in, I think this is my like 27th city in my life, and I've just seen a lot and done a lot. And I think I can sit down at a table with anyone and listen to them and really like understand where they're coming from. So the truth is, if you want to be able to do that, you can just learn it. You just need to get out and start experiencing. I think one thing, a lot of designers that come and work for us are really, really skilled designers. They're really, really skilled at the nuts and bolts of the craft, the physical aspects of it. And that's good. That should be the result of their education. What they tend to have to work on more and develop more is the ability to understand other types of businesses, right? Understand the motivations of other people, right? Like not every client who sits across from you is most interested in their product looking beautiful. What they're most interested in it doing is selling well. And maybe it doesn't look beautiful, right, to sell well. So I think that's, yeah, it's important. If I had a word of advice to anyone getting a design-focused education, it would be to take some classes outside of the design school if you can, and read books outside of the design school and have other experiences. I mean, you're getting it with the bones of it, and you need that stuff, but also just broaden your perspective. I think basic classes in rhetoric and making an argument for something, design critiques are one thing, and they can be very valuable. I think it's worth sitting in a class with a bunch of people who have very different like perspectives and making an argument for the things you believe in or the things you know. Yeah.
You talked a lot about how everyone at Fuzzco kind of like takes on a bunch of different roles.
Yeah.
But there's still these like titles that you have.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of curious if you find that those titles are still helpful, or if it's kind of like you would redefine the roles.
Yeah, that's a really good question. Titles are helpful for clients. Titles are very helpful for clients to feel like they can look at our website and understand us enough to reach out to us. And then once they can do that, we can have a conversation. If our website was just a crazy like sandbox of like the high fox, because he looks really high, and it just was bonkers, I mean, that can be really cool, but what you're absolutely doing at any point with any presentation of yourself or your business is you're winnowing down the people who will approach you or find you relatable. What we're not trying to do is lowest common denominator design, where it's just a bowl of oatmeal and it has no personality. But what we are trying to do is strike a balance between the aesthetic we believe in, the energy we believe in, but also being approachable and being understandable to our clients. Some clients come to us and they say, we're not sure you can understand our like complicated home security alarm world because it looks like you guys do a lot of like fun, silly projects. And the truth is, we really enjoy having a very broad range. We like working with law firms because it's so different from working with a guy who makes gourmet chocolate in his home kitchen, you know? Good questions. Anybody else? All right. That's the end of the semester, right? Yeah. Thanks for having me, guys.
Good luck with your finals. And our first show and tell is going to be that first week on that Thursday. So see you back here, same time, same place. Bye.